Okay, I have a question for you. How many coffee mugs do you think are out there just sitting in cupboards right now
Mm.
with the phrase "God is love" printed on them?
Oh, millions. Billions, maybe. It's got to be in the decorative, quote, Hall of Fame right next to Live, Laugh, Love.
Exactly. It's everywhere.
Mm.
Bumper stickers, cross-stitch pillows. And because we see it so much, it feels, I don't know, soft. It feels like a greeting card.
Cute. Safe. Yeah, decorative is the right word.
But the material we're diving into today argues that if you actually take those three words seriously, God is love, it is not soft at all.
No, it's actually kind of terrifying. But, in a good way, like standing next to a massive waterfall.
Right. We're looking at a stack of research today, all focused on this idea of faith in the ordinary, and it wants to completely reframe that bumper sticker. The argument is basically, we need to stop seeing love as just a mood God is in, and
Hmm.
start seeing it as the very substance of who God is. And apparently that one shift changes everything.
It really does. I mean, we'll get to how it applies to, like, getting cut off in traffic. That part hit a little too close to home for me.
Oh, me too. But before we get to the road rage, you said we have to start with the mind-bending part,
Yeah.
the theology.
We have to. It's the foundation for everything else. If you skip this, the practical stuff just feels like, feel-good advice that doesn't work.
Okay, so where do we start?
We start before the beginning. The research calls it love before time. It points to this line in the New Testament, John 17, where Jesus says, "You loved me before the foundation of the world."
So before Earth, before humans, before any of it.
Exactly. And here's why that's so important. I think a lot of us have this quiet subconscious idea that God created us because he was lonely.
Well, that kind of makes sense. If you have love, you need someone to give it to.
You do, but only if God is just a single, solitary being. And this is where the Trinity comes in, and I promise this isn't going to be a deep theology seminar.
Okay.
But the logic here is fascinating. If God is Father, Son, and Spirit, then he has always been in a relationship. He's always been loving and being loved perfectly, forever.
So he didn't create the universe to get love.
No, he created it to share love. He wasn't creating out of a deficit. He was creating out of an overflow.
Okay, wow. That is a huge shift. It means we're not here to, like, fill a void in God's ego.
We're here because love, by its very nature, is generous. It gives, it spills over.
Which brings us to the garden. And I guess this is where we have to talk about rules.
Rules.
No, but really, this is where I think a lot of people check out. They hear God is love, but then they see all the don't do this, don't touch that. It feels like a bait and switch.
It does. It feels like, I love you, now here's a straitjacket.
Exactly.
But the text uses this great analogy. It compares that one rule in Eden, don't eat from that one tree, to a parent telling their toddler, hey, run and play anywhere you want in this huge backyard. Just don't go into the road.
Okay, I see where this is going.
When you tell a kid not to play in traffic, are you doing it because you're a killjoy?
No, of course not. I'm doing it because a truck will flatten them. I'm trying to keep them alive.
Exactly. The limit isn't the punishment. The limit is the love. The source material uses this phrase, I love. Love names what destroys. It puts up a guardrail where there's a cliff.
So what we think of as religious rules are actually meant to be safety instructions.
Right. And of course, what happens in the story? We drive right off the cliff.
The fall. Genesis 3. I've heard this story a million times, but the analysis here goes deeper than just, they broke a rule.
It does. It argues that the fruit was basically just a prop. The real issue wasn't the snack. It was the desire for what the text calls autonomy over trust.
You mean like independence?
Yeah. The humans essentially said, we don't want a manager anymore. We don't trust your definition of good. We're going to define it for ourselves. It's a declaration of independence from God's reality.
Which is what we still do every single day. Don't tell me what to do.
Every day. And this is where the character of God really gets tested. The kids have just run into traffic. What is his first response?
Well, this is where the lightning bolts usually come out, right?
You would think so. But what does the text say? He comes walking in the garden, and he asks question, where are you?
Which, I'll be honest, always sounded like a weird question. He's God. Doesn't he know?
He knows exactly where they are. He knows they're hiding in the bushes, covered in shame. So the question isn't for information, it's an invitation.
An invitation.
He's not treating them like a case file. He's not hunting a criminal. He's inviting them as people to come out of hiding.
So it's more like, come on out, let's talk about this.
It is. It's the first proof that even when we run, This sturdy love moves toward us.
Yeah.
It initiates the rescue.
And that rescue theme, I mean, it runs through the whole Old Testament, which is, let's be honest, where most people think God is love goes to die.
Yeah, the PR for the Old Testament is definitely God is grumpy.
Right. All the laws, all the thou shalt nots. It feels so different.
But the context changes everything. And this was a huge aha moment for me in the research. Think about the Ten Commandments. When did they happen?
Moses, Mount Sinai, stone tablets.
Right. But it happened after God rescued them from slavery in Egypt.
Okay, so
That's the key. God didn't show up when they were slaves and say, okay, here are 10 rules. If you keep them perfectly for a year, I'll think about getting you out.
oh, wow. Okay. He got them out first.
He rescued them first, he brought them out of slavery first, and then once they were free, he gave them the law.
So the law wasn't an entrance exam to earn his love.
No, it was a manual for people who were already loved on how to stay free. It was, I carried you out, now here's how you don't slide back into chaos.
The guardrail again.
Exactly. But then the story pivots. We move from guardrails and laws to something tangible. The incarnation.
Which is basically seminary speak for God with skin on.
Perfect definition. The abstract idea of love puts on a body and walks into the room.
And the source material lists all the things Jesus did. I mean, it's wild. He touched people's society called unclean. He ate dinner with the people everyone had canceled.
Broke every social barrier.
Ah.
But he also gave a command that I think is the core of this whole thing. In the book of John, he says, abide in my love.
Abide. That's such a churchy word. What does it actually mean?
It means move in. Make your home there.
So, it's not a rental, not an Airbnb.
Exactly. He's not saying, visit my love when you feel spiritual. He's saying, live here. Make my love your permanent address. It's a constant state of being, not a feeling.
And then he proves it's not just talk. The cross. The research calls it the ultimate proof that love is self-giving.
Greater love has no one than this.
Did someone lay down his life for his friends?
Meh.
But we can't skip the next part, the resurrection. The text makes this fascinating point. It says, the cross shows love's willingness to suffer.
Yes.
But the resurrection shows love's power to finish.
That's it. It's the love is stronger than death idea. If Jesus just stays in the grave, love is admirable, but it lost. The resurrection proves love gets the final word. It doesn't just forgive you.
It recreates you.
It recreates. It invites you to live again.
Okay, so we got this massive, ancient, self-giving, death-defeating love. But I have to play devil's advocate here.
Please do.
Because I think there's a really dangerous side to this. If I'm supposed to be like God, and God is love, does that mean I'm supposed to be a doormat? Do I just let people walk all over me? Oh, you hurt me, that's fine, God is love.
That is a huge misconception. And the material goes after it hard in a section called Love versus Passivity.
Good, because that's where I always get stuck.
The text is so clear. Biblical love is holy and protective. It never, ever partners with harm. If you love someone and you see them destroying themselves or someone else, the loving thing isn't to just smile and nod.
No, that would be neglect.
It would be. True love protects. Look at Jesus. Was he gentle with broken people? Yes. Was he gentle with the leaders who were exploiting people?
No, he flipped tables, he was fierce.
He had a backbone. Love fights for what is good. And there's a really freeing point here about forgiveness.
Okay.
The source argues you can forgive someone, which means you release your need for revenge to God, but that does not mean you have to trust them again.
Wait, say that again. Forgive without trusting.
Yes. Forgiveness is your gift to give. Trust is their position to earn back. You can forgive someone and still change the locks. You can forgive someone and still create distance, because love is about protection, and sometimes the most loving thing to do is protect yourself.
Wise as serpents, innocent as doves.
That's exactly. Love creates safety. It doesn't enable harm.
That is a massive relief.
But
It takes the pressure off. Okay, so we've established this love is sturdy, it's protective, but now we have to land the plane. We have to talk about Tuesday.
Tuesday, the real test.
Right. Because it's easy to believe God is love during a sunset. But what about when I'm exhausted, stressed? The research calls this faith in the ordinary.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
So let's run through a few of the scenarios the text brings up. Let's start with the one that ruins my day the fastest. Interruptions.
Oh, this one is the worst for me.
I'm in the zone, I'm working, and then the phone rings. Or my kid needs something. And my first reaction is not love, it's get out of my way.
Same. But the text points to Jesus in the book of Mark. He's tired, he's trying to get away, and a massive crowd finds him.
The ultimate interruption.
It is. And instead of getting annoyed, the text says he had compassion on them. So the application is, do we see people as obstacles to our schedule? Or do we see them as the whole point?
Ouch. Okay. You matter more than my to-do list.
Yeah,
That is hard.
it is.
Okay, scenario 2, the performance trap. This is me at work. I feel like I only matter if I'm hitting my numbers. If I'm not useful, I'm not valuable.
That's the default human setting. But the text asks this brutal question. Are you serving so people will clap for you? Or are you serving because you already know you're loved?
One is desperate. The other is generous.
Right. If you're rooted in that love, if you abide there, you don't need the applause. You can do the good work in the background because your identity isn't on the line.
Okay, what about anger? We just said love isn't passive, so can I be angry?
You can. Sometimes you must be. The text quotes the verse, "Be angry and do not sin."
So what's the difference between good anger and bad anger?
It's the goal. Is your anger about protecting your bruised ego? How dare you cut me off? Or is it about protecting something good? Purposeful anger is a shield. Selfish anger is a weapon.
So take a breath before sending that text,
Always take the breath and ask, am I trying to restore something or just hurt them back?
which leads right into the point about truth. Because some people use honesty as a club. I'm just speaking the truth in love, as they tear you to shreds.
Yeah, that's just arrogance with the Jesus sticker on it. The material says the goal is truth without contempt. Are you having this hard conversation to dominate them or to restore them?
It really seems like all of these just come back to, are you focused on yourself or the other person?
That's the core of it, and that includes how you treat yourself.
Right, the self-image one. That really stuck with me.
It's a heavy one. The text argues that so many of us just walk around condemning ourselves, replaying mistakes, hating how we look.
We're our own worst critics.
But the argument is, if God loves you, if the creator of the universe says, I choose you, I died for you, then who are you to argue with him?
Whoa.
Part of loving God is learning to stop hating what he loves, and that includes you.
That is actually harder than loving your neighbor sometimes.
It often is, but it's part of the deal. Romans 8.1 says there's no condemnation. If he's not condemning you, you need to put down the gavel.
It really takes God as love out of the clouds and puts it right in the kitchen sink. It's in the traffic jam. It's in the interruption.
It is, and that's the point. The source wraps up by looking at the very end of the story, Revelation 21.
I am making all things new.
Exactly. The story ends with renewal. And the point is, we're not just waiting for some bus to take us away. We're supposed to live now as a preview of that future.
Bring a little bit of that renewal love into our current mess.
I live like love has a name.
And that's a great place to land. It's not a concept. It's a person.
I had just one last thought, though.
Yeah, go for it.
We talked about that guardrail analogy, the idea that God's boundaries aren't there to kill your fun, but to keep you from falling off a cliff.
Right, the safety versus restriction thing.
I think the provocative question to leave everyone with is this. Be really honest with yourself. If you truly believe that God's rules were keeping you from a cliff, not a party, which rule or boundary in your life would you stop fighting against today?
That is a very good question. Something to chew on while you're doing the dishes.
Or getting interrupted.
Exactly. Thanks for diving in with us. We'll catch you next time.